Ignition's on. We're lighting up just a little bit. Radio's coming on. Everything's coming on. And we have no controls out of the head unit. Thanks a lot, Chevy. I guess we'll start by taking this thing out, give it a good inspection, and be just like when we fixed the headlight switch. I think they're T7s, 4 of them. Pull this off. I think we got to take the cubby compartment out, and maybe or a couple bolts. I don't know. We'll get this torn apart and get back and show you what we got. See if we can get this thing fixed. I need some heat. We got the head unit out of there. We ended up taking our little compartment out, which I think we could have managed to get it out without, but it was kind of hitting the front a little bit. But it's just which I've had this dash apart where it was missing screws and stuff, so it's got some self tappers in there. It's supposed to be 7 millimeters, so it should have been 4 7 millimeters to take the cubby hole out, 4 7 millimeters to pull the head unit out. So let's take this thing inside and see. We're gonna pull it apart real quick and see if we can see anything, any bad places on it or anything. Then we'll go from there. Yeah, so we thought about it. We figured we might need to check power before we go fooling with that head unit. And we got power there. We got power there. I think, should be wrong, I think you got 2 powers going to it. That one there and that one there. That gray wire and that was pink wire or red wire. But we got power going to it. We ended up with more of the dash part than we wanted. It'll be all right. It ain't about 20 screws. So evidently we do maybe got some problem with the head unit. Let's go take it apart. All right. Took this thing apart, which is just these are 6 millimeters. I think it's 6 millimeters opposed to 7 millimeters on everything else. Whatever it was, 6 millimeters. And pulled the lid off of there, and then pulled the board, which is just connects into them little holes right there. I don't know. Is this me? Is that a burnt spot? It sure does look like a hot spot. I don't know if there's any fixing this one or not. Might have to get another one. I don't know, Margot. I ain't really no taking this apart. Might be able to raise a blade of glass off there and see. Because that definitely does not look like, I wouldn't think it would be that like that anyway. We'll get back at you when we figure something else out. We gotta find us a head unit for this thing, I guess. And I wanna, maybe a jumper wire, but I think I'm gonna make it a little bit better and a little bit shorter because it's way too long. But maybe add some little bit thicker wire, and I just got it hooked up to the little prong on the blower motor. Plug her into the cigarette lighter. She's blowing. But we're gonna lengthen this wire, make it a little thicker wire, and I guess we'll get back at you when we find a head unit. These things are expensive, so I'm gonna have to probably hit the junkyard or find somebody that's got to use one or something, because man, $100, $200, $250, something like that on eBay and stuff. Some of them are just ridiculous, dude. They think they got a piece of gold, I guess. So don't nobody do what I do. I'm just gonna show you what we ended up making us a better cable and shorten it. Just like I said, we just plugged off the little connector onto the blower motor, a little bit thicker of a wire, and just so we can get some heat out of the dash. You know, the key's not in ignition, and blower motor running. What we found when we did that, which this is the old wire, you can tell it was just super too long and too thin. Which plugging this in, and running it for a while, this thing starts getting hot, you know what I mean? So like I said, I don't recommend doing this, you know what I mean? I was just using it, you know, sparingly here and there just to get a little bit of heat and unplugging it. What we did, we cut the wire. It's one of these little bitty, little cheap heater things. We just cut the wire off it and just use the hot side of it and not the ground side of it. But we had to do something, man, because we couldn't find the heater control. But once we did make our wire and truck warm, all we was getting was the blower motors blowing out of the floor instead of out of the dash. And so we ended up taking our actuator off the truck that we just put on the truck not long ago and manually flipped it and got it to blow out of the dash. So once we get our head unit, the climate control unit for it, we'll have to hook our wire back up over here and put our actuator back on. So we got one ordered. I don't know how long it's going to take to get here. Got it off eBay. Couldn't find one new for the truck. Didn't really go to the junkyard. It's been so cold. We just need to make something happen. So got one on the way, and we'll get back with you when we get it in the mail and pop it in there and see if the thing works. Well. So we looked around, couldn't find it where they make a new one. Not one with the one that does not have the reinsert button on it. This is a 5 button, they make a 6 button. $120 shipped to the house off of eBay. And I don't know if you can hear this. They didn't pack it very good, did they? So we went ahead and in case they want to say that I tried to take the wrong one or whatever, we marked this one up and whatever. And we're gonna set you up on the tripod and crack this one open and see if it matches this one or not, and then we'll get it stuck in the truck and see if it fixes our problem. So we'll get back at you in a minute. Yeah, $120. Man, they should have put a little bit more packing in this thing. Real. This shouldn't be rattling around at all. Especially being a damn electronic part. Yeah, see, just barely throw anything in there, and she does look like the right one. All the tabs are good there. Don't look like it's been taken apart. Button's a little dirty looking, but we can deal with that as long as it fixes my problem. Please do not leave negative feedback. We're not. If it don't work, we're gonna send it back, bud. You can't even pack it a little bit better than that, man. So we'll get out to the truck and we'll stab this thing in and see if that takes care of our problem. We'll look at the other one real quick, make sure, just to make sure. Everything looks good there. All right. Look at one's got. Let's see. This one's mine. This one's got gray buttons, and this one's got black buttons. Which it won't really matter because there's factory radio's not in the truck, so the buttons ain't gonna mismatch because the other buttons on the factory radio's gone. So let's give her a try and see what she does. Stick this one in here. Let's go ahead and pull the bezel off. See, it's kind of real hard to get it unplugged, but I might be able to get it plugged in and crammed in there, and we'll see if we can check it and see if it works. Give me just a minute now. Get her in there. Well, look at there. She's lit up, which I don't have the blower motor hooked up over there, but she is. I've never heard that actuator make that noise before, but I think what we're gonna do, this button kind of feels a little sticky though. I think we're gonna take it back out. So I got the blower motor on the hook because I did have a jumper wire run over there to the blower motor, so I can plug it into the cigarette lighter down here to get some heat coming out of this thing. I think what I'm gonna do is pull it back out, and I'm gonna take and put my faceplate on there, because that button right there just kind of feels a little messed up. Like I said, I don't get why that other actuator is making noise, but as long as it works, I don't care. So let's take and swap that faceplate out with the other buttons, and we'll get everything put back together. Okay, what we did, this is my insides. Took the buttons and put them pretty much faceplate and put it on here, so now the on off button and everything feels good, and still got the same insides from the new one, and you can see where the guy marked it with a little bit of red marker, so he would know if somebody swapped the pieces of parts out or whatever. Let's go install it and see if she still works and get this project taken care of. I'm done fooling with it. Needs some heat. All right. So we got our head unit in there, cubby hole back in there. We got our bezel back in there. We put our actuator back, our mode door actuator back in, hooked it up, plugged our blower motor back up, took our jumper wire off. Still need to put the little cover plate, like this cover plate right here back on, but it's just a couple screws. But we need to check and see if this thing's gonna work before we go any further. So probably should have checked it, make sure it was good to go after we put it in the second time anyway. But I think we'll be all right. It worked when I put it in just a minute ago. So let's see what she does. She is lit up. I hear a blow motor going. Uh-oh. That works. That works. Start over here. It is blowing out of the dash. Let's see if it comes up out of here. And it's blowing out of up there. Let's go back down to the feet part of it. And she is blowing out there. And that on and off button definitely feels a whole lot better. So I'm glad to still gotta hear the noise with the other actuator. I guess we still need another actuator, but we'll deal with that one when it goes completely out. As long as it works, we're fine. So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.